Hello, I'm Todd Phillips, the editor of Canadian Auto Dealer. We're joined today by Maria Soklis, the president of Cox Automotive Canada. Now, Cox Automotive is one of the largest suppliers of digital software and services to Canadian automotive dealerships. And Maria, you're running a company as well in the midst of this pandemic with a large footprint across Canada. What are you doing really to maintain operations for your company in the midst of this?
Hey, Todd, great to see you, and thank you for the invitation to spend a few minutes with you today. There's a lot of things that Cox Automotive has been doing here in Canada and globally to kind of manage and navigate through the waters of this pandemic. We've kind of broken it out into three phases. The first phase that we entered was a phase where we wanted to protect the safety and the health of our people, of our teams, of our customers, and our communities. So we closely aligned with what our health officials and our governments were doing and guiding us to do. So that's where we started in our phase one. Then we shifted to phase two, which was being empathetic to our partners and our customers and taking some actions to help support them through the pandemic. And then once we addressed our customers' needs, then we shifted our focus to our own business and took certain actions to make sure that we were mindful of our own financial and operational health. So now, as of the last couple of weeks, we've entered into the final phase, which is kind of reimagining our business and how we want to operate, not only through this now today, but a little bit into the future. I mean, you always have to start with what you know to be true today, but that revolves more around kind of digitization and evolving from a modernization standpoint, and basically looking for ways to run more operationally efficient, both within our company and with the impact that we have in the industry.
Well, Maria, one thing we've seen in the midst of this pandemic is that the supplier community is really stepping up and really offering support, rebates, concessions to the dealer community to help them through it. What sort of things has Cox Automotive Canada been doing for your dealer clients in the midst of this?
Hey, Todd, that's a great question. Listen, thank you for asking that. We've actually tried to be as empathic as we could be with our customers and our good partners. So there are a few things that we've done. First of all, we discounted some of our subscription products for the month of April and May with significant discounts. And then for our next year customers, we've actually deferred principal payments and all associated fees to offer relief for their cash flow. And then finally, another thing that we've done is we've established this library, this digital library, if you will, where a lot of our dealers can access it for free, and they can pull collateral, whether it's marketing collateral or COVID communications. And we've also gone an extra step and provided them with some best practices that they can integrate in their own business to run more operationally efficient, if you will. So there are a number of actions that we've taken in the best interest of our customers.
Well, that's great, Maria. I'm sure that's much appreciated by the dealers. Speaking of the dealers, one thing I know that dealers are going through in the midst of this is increased digitization with contactless delivery and sales. Now, a lot of the products that Cox Automotive offers are sort of furthering that digital journey. We've talked about in the past about the journey that dealers are already on. I'm sure it's pretty busy over there, just fielding some of the inquiries from dealers. Tell us a bit about sort of the renewed interest in products that can really help dealers deliver a more online customer-centric experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is the perfect opportunity for dealers to take advantage of some of the digital tools that we have available. And in fact, we've been inundated with customers, both at the dealer level and at the OEM level, who have a renewed interest in those tools. And I think it's really necessary that if there is a silver lining to come out of this pandemic within the industry, it's going to be to push us in the direction where we have no choice but to evolve, right? We've been a very traditional industry for a long time, and we've been talking about e-commerce, and we've been embracing it and making slow strides toward it. But this certainly I think puts things into context and offers dealers the opportunity to evolve their business.
Maria, one question I have for you is around leadership. Dealer principals are leading their teams and in the midst of one of the most difficult times any of us have seen in the industry, and you yourself have to lead a large company and guide your team through this. What advice would you have for dealers really regarding their leadership and their ability to keep their teams intact in the midst of something like this?
Right. First of all, I completely empathize with them. It is heart-wrenching. It is really heart-wrenching when you are dealing with people who are trying to navigate through unprecedented waters and who are afraid and trying to ensure their own health and safety, and then over and above that, worried about how this is going to all play out professionally for them. The way that I've approached it, the way that Cox has approached it, and the way that I would recommend for people or leaders to approach it is, first of all, you need to lean in. You need to lean in as best as you can. And you need to communicate. And we're not always real good at communicating, but I think it's a time where you need to communicate as frequently and as clearly and concisely as you can. The other piece is be transparent. There is, such a fear of the unknown. So the more you communicate and the more transparent you are with your people, helping them to understand that, you are working towards at least an intermediary plan, I think that helps them to find comfort. And if nothing else, it certainly builds loyalty and commitment to the company because they are looking towards the interest of their people. It's not easy. It hasn't been easy for any of us, and I don't think it's going to get easier from here. But again, if you can keep your communication frequent and transparent, I think it's the best that we can do right now.
Great, that's some great advice. Maria, one question about the future. All dealerships are adapting their sales, their service, F&I operations to the new normal. What does the new normal look like for you?
Gosh, the new normal, that's a really big question because there are so many variables that can influence that, Todd. I think that, from a perspective of hope, I can tell you that Monday was the first day that Quebec and Ontario have opened for the most part, and we saw a record number of applications coming through our portal. And what I can tell you is if people are in the market, they are in the market and they are buying. So it becomes really critical that dealers are able to outreach to these customers in whatever way it is that they are requesting to do business. And it's also really important that they elevate their customer experience. But anyway, we've seen, as I said, a record number of applications will come through. And we're also seeing our digital auction selling some additional cars this week, over the last couple of weeks, actually, through both simulcast and our digital auction platform, Move It, and our private stores. So there certainly are signs that the industry is starting to stabilize in this business unusual. But again, we're coming off of a month where there was a complete close down, right? There was complete closures. So I think that May and June will be really telling on how quickly the industry is able to rebound. Yeah, I think that we'll have to monitor that very closely, but there are certainly good signs and good key indicators that we're moving towards a better business per unusual, if you will.
Well, that's great, Maria. Well, we'll end it here on that note of optimism. It's great to see that things are picking up for dealers, and let's hope that the business picks up quickly. And thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. My pleasure, Todd. Keep well and stay safe.
All right. Thank you. Signing off.